Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review for you all. This movie is a horror film from Australia, English language, released in the year 2012, directed by Tanzil Rahim, and this film is called Muirhouse. So Muirhouse is the surname of a documentarian that is going to record footage of real-life paranormal activity at the Monte Cristo homestead here in Australia. It's said to be the most haunted location in the country. So he's going to do a bit of a documentary, give a history lesson behind the homestead, and then he's hopefully going to actually catch some ghost action. But unfortunately, things go from bad to worse very quickly because he gets a lot more than he bargained for. So what that is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Muirhouse. To start off with, this is actually a found footage horror film. So if you're not a fan of this subgenre, this is a movie that's not going to appeal to you. But if you are a fan of this subgenre, then this is a review that I definitely feel as though it's going to be for you. And so, not knowing what to expect with Muirhouse, this is released by Monster Pictures. Now, back in the day, Monster Pictures were giving Australian independent cinema every opportunity to really express themselves in front of a wider audience. They were very hit and miss. Some of the stuff was really good, some of the stuff was actually quite bad. And so when I saw the trailer for this film, although I was a massive found footage horror film fan, and I still am, I just had other movies at the time that were more interesting and actually intrigued me more. And so I had this on the radar for a long time, but I just kept overlooking it. But then I realised it was actually about the Monte Cristo homestead. So the Monte Cristo homestead is in Junee, which is about 2.5 to 3 hours drive from Canberra, and it's said to be the most haunted place in Australia. So it's actually a real location. And to base a film on a real location, I thought, as though, okay, that's very interesting. Now, if you don't believe in ghosts, being the most haunted place in the country doesn't really mean much to you, but I still feel as though it's interesting because the history behind the homestead is very interesting. And so I thought, alright, well, this is a really good base for a horror film. So I thought, alright, I'm going to finally go and watch this movie. I'm not really risking much by watching it. Hopefully it was going to really win me over, but unfortunately, although the movie is quite interesting, the movie really fails to deliver on its promise of actually being a scary film. So to start off with, the best part of the movie is in fact the location. It's a real life location, as I said, and the history behind it. I thought the documentary sort of feel to it actually worked very well and actually gave the film a foreboding sort of feeling that, you know, things are going to go really bad once you get to this location, because you know who actually lived here and actually what happened. And so as the movie goes on, you get into the homestead. I thought the homestead's very, very creepy, and so everything promised a film that, as I said, it really fails to deliver. And so unfortunately that is where the positives stop, and this is where the negatives begin. The movie wants to be realistic. It's based on a real location, and it wants to give you the impression that it's actually real footage, and that defeats the purpose of being an entertaining horror film. And that's exactly what the movie needed. It needed to entertain, because if you're trying to be too realistic, that does basically numb you to the point of boredom. And the whole film has that sense of boredom because it just doesn't really want to scare an audience, because it's afraid of going out of the realms of reality. And so being a ghost horror film, you know, a haunted house horror film, you're going to go in there expecting thrills and chills, things, you know, that really make you jump. But unfortunately the movie isn't trying to go for that. The movie is trying to go for something that you're actually really watching, and that's a lot more boring. Real life is boring. And so you need to make a sense of theatrics. You need to make, you know, you need to give a reason as to why you should keep watching, but unfortunately the movie just fails to provide that reason. So it's not really much to it. It goes into the homestead, there's a few bumps and, you know, some noises, and so some of it was kind of creepy, but unfortunately it does get quite repetitive and tiresome very, very early. So it's a 70-minute movie, but it feels like it goes for a lot longer than that, because it really drags out scenes. I felt as though this is a short film that didn't know how to be a long movie. And so a feature-length film is definitely something that really prevents Muirhouse from being anything entertaining and therefore anything memorable. And another thing that I didn't like is that there are a lot of questions to this movie that didn't get answered to a satisfactory point. So I felt as though there's a lot of unresolved qualities to this film. At the start of the movie, it takes place at the end. And so, alright, you want to know how this person at the end came about the way he is, but unfortunately the movie forgets about that. So it almost felt like it ran out of money, it ran out of budget, and it really couldn't finish what it set out to do. And so I felt as though it was a very, very unrewarding, a very unsatisfying horror film. It's not really that scary. It's interesting, but unfortunately just leaving it at interesting is not enough to actually make a film worth going out there and watching. And so it was disappointing that it just wanted to stay confined to the realms of reality, because it defeats the purpose of what a good ghost horror story should be. It had the grounds to be absolutely fantastic, but unfortunately it failed to grab that opportunity. So overall, for Muirhouse, I'm going to give this one 1.5 stars. I was disappointed. It's not the worst horror film you'll ever see, but unfortunately just doesn't have the confidence to really go out of the realms of reality and jump into the world of entertainment. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.